Well, welcome back to the Life Legacy Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to bring on someone that to me is just a solid leader and someone who can hype up a room and make everyone feel like a star. And I remember the first time I met Scott Warner. We had some dinner together with there was a bunch of content creators and things, and right as you walked in, you made a couple comments, and instantly everyone was like centered around you, and you're good at positively influencing a room. And in 2 seconds, I just noticed like, okay, this guy's a leader, and I want to get to know him better.
Wow, thanks. Thank you. It's very kind. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those at home, Scott is just a powerful leader that if you want to grow in leadership and endurance and really learn how to make a large impact, I think Scott's done more work in marketing and influencing than most people you will ever meet.
Wow, thanks, man.
So to help the audience a little bit, I just want them to know like what makes you tick. Like what's like the why behind Scott and what do you care about?
I just love life, man. Like it's such an adventure. There's just endless possibilities, and really when it comes down to it, it's you against the world and you deciding how to make life work for you, or how to enjoy life. I mean, really it's just life in general. I love getting up every day and, you know, getting after it, whatever it is that I'm focused on, you know? So I love life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you're pretty good at that too. It seems
Thanks.
like you're always having a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. Life is meant to be a good time. I mean, there's going to be tough times, but ultimately it's meant to be a good time.
Yeah. And how do you think, like, how do you normally have a good time? I know you're a huge sports fanatic.
Yeah,
What else?
man, I love my family. You know, my kids, my beautiful wife, friends, just people in general. I love people. I think that has been something that I have always been drawn to, is just people and meeting people, learning about people. Anyone you meet or come in contact with will have something you can learn from them. And it's just a matter of looking for those things, and growing. And I love helping people. I just love people. And I think that's what makes me tick. I love helping people and helping people rise up to accomplish great things too. That's one of my favorite things or quotes is, you know, a man's greatest success is being a part of someone else's success story. So if you can be a part of someone's success story, that is true success. And so if you look for ways to help people become successful, I think there are endless blessings that come from that. And I love trying to help people if I can.
Yeah. There's there's like certain things that really elevate my day or like my spirit of who I am. And one of them is when I can tell I've done something that will positively help someone else.
For sure.
It like nothing floors me like that. And
Yeah, man. That's why we're here.
yeah,
It's really why we're here.
cool. And how many kids do you have now?
I got 4. I've got 4. It's crazy. It's a lot. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Sometimes I wish I had more, and then there are days when I wish I had less. But it's great. Family's great.
Yeah. And well, let's go back to like paint us a picture of your growing up life. What did that look like? And
Yeah, man. I had the greatest childhood. That's so fortunate to have 2 amazing parents that, you know, taught me hard work, really instilled confidence in me. My mom was always building me up as a kid from, you know, my earliest memories, and helping me feel like I could accomplish anything that I set my mind to. You know, we were very close, tight knit family. You know, we grew up Christian family, a lot of church. You know, being you know, a disciple of the Savior was important to us, and I'm so grateful for that. And just had a great time. We had a lot of hard times financially, as you know, in the younger years, but so many blessings came from that.
tell me about that. That's always interesting.
You know, and I've talked with my parents about it. my dad, he's had a tremendous amount of success financially and has had some really tough times. Like my father, I'm a risk taker, and dad was an entrepreneur, made a ton of mistakes, and unfortunately, however, fortunately, a lot of those poor decisions happened during, my teenage years. And as a family looking back, a lot of the struggles financially played such a huge role in my own as well as my siblings' drive and work ethic. Because there wasn't a ton of money, it kind of forced our hand, and so it was a wonderful thing in that my dad really taught all of us kids how to get out there and make money. And I think it set the stage in many ways for us early on how to find that drive to go and make money and be entrepreneurs. We were always coming up with new ways to be an entrepreneur when we were young. So
How many siblings? And then how did like you play a hand in helping in your dad's work?
I don't know if I necessarily, well, actually, let's start with the question. So there's five of us. I'm the oldest of five, four boys, one girl, all crazy, very loud. Definitely the loudest house on planet Earth growing up. There's no one that had a louder house than ours. I'd be willing to put money on that. So a lot of very, very high energy, extroverted kids. And so my dad helped us understand the power of that and how to capitalize on, different entrepreneurial efforts, being outgoing and people, I guess. But I don't think that the kids, myself or any of my brothers or sister, really played a role in helping dad, financially with what he always took care of us. Like there was always food on the table, always a roof over our head. So I mean, it wasn't to the extent where we didn't have that. But when it came to like, you know, gas money, lunch money, clothes, that was on us, and I'm so grateful for it.
I love that.
Yeah. We had to go out and grind to get some of the, the normal, I guess, expectations, things that kids would expect mom and dad to cover, and or take care of or pay for. So, so grateful for it. So grateful for that. Yeah. So
I I always talk about my family as like, yeah, we're one of the most insane families.
yeah, I think we're all insane.
Yeah.
All families are insane.
And I just think about like our Sunday dinners and it like most families, it's like if you could imagine a normal Sunday dinner, it's like, nope, this could be reality TV.
Right.
And but I would much rather a ton of flavor and just a bland, yeah, man.
And just the fact that we were able to sit at a table with our family and enjoy dinner. I mean, you would be shocked. I mean, people would be shocked at how few families actually do that. So if you're a family that's actually sitting at a table, mom, dad, kids, enjoying a meal together and having a discussion, that is not normal. It's not normal. And the older I get, I understand what a blessing that was to me as, a young kid. And I'm so grateful to my parents for, providing that to us. And I try to do the same today as much and as often as I can. Make sure that we're sitting at a dinner table, having a good time, talking and being a family.
Yeah. And like, how are you different than your siblings?
Oh, we are all so alike, yet so incredibly different. But I mean, I'm the oldest. All these memes that you see about the oldest, the middle child, the youngest.
You're on the show.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely I run the show. Always have, always will. Anyway, but those memes that you see, a lot of them are so true, like around the oldest, the middle of the pack or the youngest. But at the same time, like I have so much respect and admiration for my siblings. They're just all incredible human beings with such good hearts and do a lot of good in the community, in the world. And a lot of that I attribute to, the way that our parents raised us, and grateful for that.
I love that. Yeah. And where did your journey kind of start where you started becoming your own self? Where Like, is this in high school? Were you playing sports, or what did that look like?
Yeah, sports was that was everything growing up. Sports were, that's pretty much all we did. And so that created, the competitive side, as far as, a competitor when it comes to sports. And I still have a little of that today. But yeah, growing up, just did a lot of sports, but entrepreneurship was being an entrepreneur was just, it's in my blood. I mean, you look back through generations, it's all my grandparents, my great grandparents, and even beyond that, all entrepreneurs. And so I think it was in the blood, but because of the family situation financially, I think it really threw us into the fire. And we started, entrepreneurial things when we were 11, 12. One of the things my dad did, and I've mentioned this on other podcasts, is he got us boys into baseball cards or sports cards. And the beauty of that is he taught us the art of negotiation and trade. So we started with, with our brothers, and then we start trading cards with friends. Then, we would sell cards here and there. And so I think that, he taught us the art of negotiation, right? With baseball cards. And that can work with a number of different things, not just sports cards. So, and that started like 7, 8, 9 years old.
Dang.
And then it moved into, other things, other random little entrepreneurial ventures. I remember setting up, we called it the Snack Shack. And I remember writing prices for a Snickers bar, a Coke, and we'd go set up at my dad's softball fields and people would come and buy it. And we were like 11 years old and, come home with $20-$30 a night. And that's a lot of money for a kid. That's a lot of money for a kid. So yeah, it started with little things like that. And, my brother Trey and I started Trey's Trash and we went and offered our service to take people's trash out the night before trash was supposed to go, and made a lot of money on that. And we had our own newspaper route. We got on our rollerblades and we would sell subscriptions and then deliver the newspapers. A lot of people don't even know what a newspaper is now. But yeah, it's little things like that. So
that's so fun. Yeah, I grew up trading cards too. Yeah, I had a brother that he was huge on buying and selling things on eBay. And one day I was like, "Hey, can I buy these cards on eBay?" He's like, "Look, if you can figure out how to manage my account, like if you could buy something on my eBay, like saying there's no way that you can do it, you can buy whatever you want."
oh yeah.
And I found out how to buy, and I was a huge Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I bought like
Hopefully Peyton Manning's. Yeah. And then a local hero, Austin Collie. I don't know if you ever got
17.
there. You go, number 17. Let's go.
And his career. Well,
He was amazing.
he came out.
He's amazing. One of the best route runners I have ever seen, possibly the greatest receiver out of BYU. But so many of the things that Austin did, I think he ran like a 4.6, which isn't crazy speed for a receiver, but man, that dude knew how to create separation. So props to you, Austin. I hope you see this.
He will.
He will.
Yeah.
I'll make sure of it. Yeah.
So then after high school, what kind of happened with your world?
After high school, served a mission. I went to Nashville. 2 of the greatest, hardest years of my life. And I did pretty well with it, a lot of knocking doors. So towards the end of my high school days, I did a lot of knocking doors, whether it was selling subscriptions to newspaper or it was spray painting curbs. I'd knock a door and spray curbs, the addresses. Then went on my mission, continued knocking doors, sharing the good word. Got home from my mission, and one of my mission buddies, in fact, probably my best friend still to this date, he got involved with another door knocking venture, selling security systems, home automation or home security. He told me he'd made like 40 grand in a summer, and I'm like, you made 40 grand? No offense, Dave. Dave's very good salesman, but I knew I'd be better. I thought I could be better at least.
All right,
If you could do it, I could do it. And so, then I spent, I got involved with a company called Pinnacle Security, and Was knocking doors, selling security for, I ended up doing that, solo for 1 or 2 years, and then got into management and started managing a region and had a great time. And that really kind of set the stage for me financially. I made a lot of great money, was really fortunate, and it allowed me to really, really dive into the world of entrepreneurship that I was so excited about. Yeah.
Was your next step from there to Gig?
Yeah. Yeah. So I still remember the day that I let my very good friends and business partners know at Pinnacle that I was stepping aside, and I made sure to do it right before the summer started to get all the teams out that I had worked with. And then I stepped down and was off to the races with Gigg. And Gigg was my next big venture, but I also started dabbling in other businesses. I think within the 2 years that I stepped away from Pinnacle, I think I started like 7 businesses, and whether I was a partner or I started it from scratch, just really started being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good that came with that, but a lot of hard lessons learned as well, because focus, if there's anything I've learned at this point, focus is very, very important, and you don't want to get sidetracked. Stay truly committed to whatever it is you're seeking to accomplish. And when the big money's there, then you can start moving into a bunch of different businesses. But it was hard at first when I first started Gigg and was dabbling with a couple other businesses. So
Yeah, I've heard people say like, "Hey, you need 7 different streams of income."
yeah,
But I feel like what's missing with that phrase is you need to start with one pathway
yep,
and go so deep in it, and then
yes,
once you've made it where you're
yes.
financially free, that's where you start.
That's right. That's right. And so I had a lot of money when I broke away from Pinnacle, and so I was in a position to invest, but a lot of those investments were still businesses that required a decent portion of my time, which almost drowned me. Right? Like I got too involved in too many things early on, and I got a lot of hell for it. Like, and it did slow down my main focus, which was Gigg. And so I started coming to my senses about 7 years after starting Gigg. And I knew I needed to slow down, and it was thanks to a partner that really like talked some sense into me. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but it was fun. It was fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah. And like those learning steps are so crucial.
Oh yeah.
And there's moments, at least where what I've gone through, where it's like, God, I wish I would have just skipped that and not dealt with all the bull crap.
Right.
That that bull crap that you deal with, like that's what creates you. And that's the fire that you
That's right. That's right. All my failures it's tuition, right?
Yeah.
I'm paying tuition in a sense, learning, growing, so I agree.
So with a new entrepreneur that's jumping in, what advice would you give them?
So an entrepreneur starting a new business, number one, and I would imagine this goes without being said, it's got to be something you're passionate about, something that you've done your due diligence on to learn, understand, and set out to go after. If I were to go back in time and start from scratch, the thing that I would do differently is I would have been a lot more aware of and focused on finding partners that were the right partners, that actually brought value to the table. I raised a lot of money, and when you raise money from people that aren't necessarily involved in one way or another, they can become a thorn in your side. And so if you're going to take money from someone, make sure that they can bring value in ways. That's something that would have really helped me early on. The other thing that I would recommend to a young entrepreneur is understanding the competition, and really, really making an effort to understand what it is the competition's doing and the things that you can do to make your offering better is one that I really wish that I had done a better job on. The other thing that I wish I had done is I think I waited too long on certain things that I should have gotten out quicker because I was such a perfectionist. You're never going to be fully ready. You're never going to be ready. Because a lot of times most founders of businesses, they're so hard on themselves that they just expect everything to be perfect, but it never will be. So just throw yourselves to the wolves, like get yourself out there, and you'll learn quick that way. So those are a couple pieces of advice that I would give. I think the last one that I would give is be ready for the grind. And, some of the best businesses in the world could take a decade. So as you're setting out to build a business that you want to, if you want it to be a household name or a global business, or, even locally, you got to be willing and to grind for years. It could take years before your dream or your vision actually comes to fruition, and you've got to be willing to grind it out. I don't feel like Gigg really started taking flight the way that I had hoped it would. We had a lot of successes, along the way, but as far as true value monetarily, it took about 9 years. 9 years of grinding. And if I had known that it would take that long, I don't know if I think I would have kept grinding, but I was committed. I thought it would be a lot faster.
Yeah.
A lot faster, but it wasn't, but lessons were made, or lessons were learned. Right.
I think one time I came to your office and we were just talking about business and you were diving deep into mine. And one of the questions that kind of pierced me was like, hey, are you ready to do this for 10 years? Like, what if it doesn't make money for 5, 10 years? Like, are you going to do it?
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew in my heart the answer was yes. But that's like a hard reality.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Last night, sorry, and I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know if you, last night I was talking to a buddy and actually a client, who is really struggling right now, and he's literally run out of money, and he doesn't necessarily know what he's going to do next. And he's got a great product. He's got a great product with endless possibilities. But he's at a crossroads right now where he has to decide which direction to go. Do I raise more money? Do I push on the brakes a bit, to revisit the business model and approach it differently? I could sense in his voice last night, and I don't know if he's going to see this, but I could sense some real concern, almost like he was slightly terrified on what's next. And it's for me, like I've been there. So I'm being empathetic to him. Like, you can do this. I've been there before. Just keep driving, keep going. And I asked him the same question. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? And he said, yes. And those are the moments that make you a man, a true entrepreneur. Like, you got to be in hell to decide where you're going to go, what direction you're going to go, even if you're in hell. Right. And it's those that can find a way out, that keep pressing, keep pushing. We've all heard the quote, you can't beat someone that never quits. And I'm a true believer of that. And he's not going to quit. He's going to find a way, but he's going through it right now, man. He's going through it. I think he's been at it for a couple years now. Couple years. You got 5 to 10 more, bro. You better be willing. Let's go.
I think the moments when you're in hell is the moments where you want to freeze and do nothing and just figure everything out. And that's when you need to put in the most amount of action.
That's right. That's right.
To push through.
I totally agree. And a lot of people just give up when they're in hell.
Yeah.
And the hell of it, for the long term is, man, I wish I'd stuck it out. Because they'll think about that. There is a proper moment when it's time to throw in the towel. And I've had to do that with a couple different businesses. And I think that most of the time when someone throws in a towel, that passion and that drive wasn't there as much as they may have thought it was early on. And there's a reason I'm still at it with Gigg, is because it really, really was my passion and what I wanted. And I'm still here.
So tell us what Gigg is, and what have been some of your favorite successes that have came out of, going through some really tough times for 7+ years.
Oh man. Okay. Well, let me tell you what Gigg is, and we've pivoted 2,437 times. I just made that number up, but it's probably close to that. Be willing to pivot. That's another thing for entrepreneurs. You never know what things may come with regard to your business, and a lot of times the customers will direct some of those paths that you take, and you need to be ready to accept what the customers are telling you and the feedback that you're getting. And a lot of times what you think is going to work for your business is not even close to what's going to work for the customers, right? So be very mindful of that. So what is Gigg? Gigg is in many cases, it's a marketing machine to drive brand, community, and awareness. Our focus really has become communities. Communities are insanely important, and most communities, are centralized destinations like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I need to say X instead of Twitter. Sorry about that, Elon. But LinkedIn. These are communities that people come to and communicate, and they're very broad. So, inside of these communities, tons of discussions around different things. But we believe that communities that are focused on whatever it is, something that people have passion for, businesses, sports, entertainment, a number of different things. Those communities should live in a place that's controlled by the business or the institution or the organization. The problem with the current social media ecosystem is that social media owns all and controls all. When it comes down to it, they can decide whether or not you get to continue on their platform. They can shut you down at a moment's notice. They can also hide the content that you're putting out because it doesn't work with their agenda. They don't give you any of the stuff that truly matters. You're not getting the data. I mean, I've reached, and have had billions of engagements and views on Twitter. I don't have any of the information of any of the people that I've earned that following from. And there's a reason for that. They control it. And that's what makes them worth the trillions of dollars, all these different social platforms. And there's a problem with that. And I think that the general public is wising up and realizing that they do need to own a community. And people are willing to go to a community that you control. If you're a sports team, if you're a record label, one of our clients is Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch. Who would have ever thought that there was a community where a bunch of paranormal nerds and alien lovers and Bigfoot lovers could come and communicate on a daily basis? Well, it's happening. So the thing that, and I love Skinwalker Ranch. They've built something beautiful. Brandon Fugel was brilliant, going and getting that. That's a local business here. And there are millions of alien, UFO, paranormal, ghosts, people that really are into that stuff, like to the point that they'll pay a subscription to be inside of this community. So the point that I'm making is, we're trying to set the stage to teach and promote a community that lives in a place that benefits the businesses that rightfully deserve to have those communities and own that data, and they're better know their customers, their members, their fans. And we've built a platform to support that, and a number of different features inside of our platform that help grow the community. So that's what Gigg. That's what Gigg is right now. And it's been a lot of fun. Second question, what are some of the things along the way? I have worked with people that I never in a million years could have thought that I would have worked with. Some of the greatest entertainers and, artists, athletes ever. And, it's pretty nuts when you're sitting down with these incredible people thinking, man, I'm either teaching them something that they're benefiting from with regard to building their brand, or helping them build their brand, or teaming up with them to go, generate revenue. It's been pretty amazing. Another one of those really successful moments. I started Gigg for the music industry. A lot of people know that. I still am asked, what's going on with music? And we just stepped back into music, which I'm crazy excited about. Last year we got nominated for a Webby we worked with Michael Bublé, and that was an incredible experience. One of the best campaigns ever, around the So You Think You Can Dance effort. But I'll never forget the moment I was at LDS church headquarters, and I'm, working with members of the Quorum of the 12 and working on, initiatives like the, Built to Hear Him initiative and Strive to Be and Give Thanks, a lot of these incredible, special campaigns that I know impact a lot of people across the globe. That was a really special, unique thing for me.
What do you learn from those experiences?
With which part?
Uh, I'm curious about like working with the 12. Yeah, like what new insights did you not know before?
Oh man. So,
That I guess you can talk.
yeah, I mean, this section of the podcast or the video, I think will resonate with members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For the others, I actually think it would resonate with them as well. When it comes to the brethren, uh, unfortunately, most people outside of our faith, they could care less what these old dudes are saying. Not that you're old, you guys are great. We love you. Anything and everything that you're saying, we love to hear about.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the general public, no one really cares what some old geezers in Salt Lake City have to say. And they're not old geezers. They look great. They really do, actually. Most of these guys look great. I think the prophet's, 150 years old now? Russell M., man, he is no joke.
He's still around here, right?
Right, right. But when it comes down to it, and this applies with business, no one really cares what these guys have to say or the church has to say. And the thing that I was really pushing with, the 5 departments of the church and with the incredible people that I worked with over there is we got to get the members to do the talking. So the question is, what things are we doing to give members of the faith to share what they know, to share light, to share goodness? What calls to action can we put out there that get them to respond and share things that brighten the world, right? And the same rules apply with businesses. No one cares what a business has to say
about their own product. I mean, it's important. It's important for people to know what your product is. So that's your job, to explain what the product is. Now, to create opportunities to sell, promote, or push whatever it is that you're trying to sell, promote, push, campaign, whatever, you got to get the people talking. So the question really becomes, what are you doing to give your customers, your members, your students, your fans, a reason to talk about you online? And if you can create things that give them a reason to talk about you and your business online, that's marketing 101. That's the new age of marketing. And so when you're really, really working towards driving a product, you've got to focus on ways to get the people talking about whatever it is that you're pushing. So
that's super insightful for me. We've just recently been gaining a decent amount of followers on Your Life Legacy, and on Your Life Legacy, we help capture people's life and their story.
Yeah.
And so we have clips that are amazing of people that are, telling some of the most important things of their life, but we don't know the best way to create that community. We now have like 15,000 followers on Facebook and 13 on Instagram and a couple other places where it's like we're getting millions of views.
Yeah.
But I want to create a better community. Any ideas how we could get our followers talking more about the product and, like having these messages hit more people and making them want to stay in,
Well, here's a couple questions for you. If you were to set up a community, what would the focal point be? Like, what are you talking about in your community that would actually excite people to want to come and spend time there? Where it starts with it's something that you're putting out.
Yeah.
So it would be easy for, locally here, Utah, the Utes, to put something out about, Utah sports, or Brigham Young, BYU sports, to here we talk BYU sports, or we talk Utah sports.
Yeah.
Your community would be what? Here you talk about
people's life story.
People's
and what's
life
been
story.
most important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now you need to get a bunch of people there to your community to talk about their life story. Where would you start? Who would you go to first? If you had to say, like, who's gonna have the best stories? Probably the older ones, maybe grandma, grandpa, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe, someone with wisdom, because if there's content being created inside this community that actually can educate, teach, build build goodness, excitement, whatever it is, people will come. And so content is king. And the reason that all these social media platforms thrive and are doing so well, the content is there and the people are there to talk about it. So it's all about building something that would excite folks to want to come and participate there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just got to sit and think through, if we're going to start a community, what kind of content are we going to create there that gets people talking, you know? So, we can talk more about that offline, but that's kind of the rule of thumb.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to your world with Gigg. What have been some of the like refiner's fire moments where it's like where you're switching places with your friend and you might be talking to someone where it's like, I don't know next steps.
Yeah. You know, I've had a lot of moments where I've had to reset the stage, which included letting go of people because we weren't ready or we weren't generating the revenue that we had hoped for. And there's nothing worse than having to let someone go, especially someone that you love and that actually brings value to your business. I mean, I can name 15 people that at one point I was working with that I either had to let go or just we weren't in the right spot to really capitalize on their skill set. And I've fortunately been able to go back and get a couple of them, but a lot of them have moved on. And so it's always tough when you have to part ways with those that bring value, especially when it comes to not being able to either afford them, you're not generating the revenue that you would like. I remember one point I literally had to let go of my entire team because we just were not in a place that we needed to be, and it was devastating. And I remember sitting in my office by myself thinking, what have I gotten myself into, you know? And there's that, you know, sitting in the middle of hell saying, all right, well, am I going to give up or am I going to keep pushing? And at that point, there was only like 10 employees total, but that's a lot, especially when they have families and so on. And so that was really, really tough for me. Losing huge clients because of things that you're not either doing properly or providing, your team's not executing, that's a killer. No one likes to see huge, paying customers part ways because you're not getting the job done or you're not providing the services that they had expected. Investing in people that end up not being anywhere close to what you'd hope them to be, that's where you got to be super careful. I highly recommend if you fall in love with someone that you're interviewing for a position that you do your due diligence, that you check on this individual and that they really did set out and accomplish the things that they talk about in their resume or they're telling you about. I've been bitten a few times because I like to see the best in people. And so I don't tend to, I trust them. I've learned to not be as trusting as I once was. And it's good to trust people. But at the same time, you shouldn't trust everyone. Right. So
yeah, that like trust is such an interesting topic, like,
So
because it
important.
can go in so many different ways. Something I've loved, and I learned this as I was working with troubled youth. These people were looked at as some of the worst humans of like society, like where it's like, okay, we don't know what to do with them. Like, let's put them in a camp type thing,
Right.
which sounds crazy. But in my job, I just wanted to find their greatness and I focused on that. And I was able to create really cool relationships and connections. But I've chosen to give people 100% trust until they show reasons that I need to pull back my trust.
Right.
Because I would rather lose in a relationship and then not give my 100%. And
Love it. Yep.
but it's hard because
It is.
like I have literally gotten screwed from doing that.
Yeah. I think everyone has. And those are lessons that you're learning. And you know what? You mentioned something interesting. Sometimes people just need someone to believe in them. Sometimes that's all you need. That's all someone needs. And I've had a chance to work with some pretty amazing people that really may not have been the ideal fit for maybe some of the things that I need from them inside of the business, the workspace. But but I can see things that would qualify them. And if I believe in them and I put that faith and trust in them, people will respond to that.
They show up.
Yeah, they show up. They show up. And there's a lot of people out there that don't feel believed in by anyone. And they just need a little hope. And sometimes hope comes from someone believing in them.
Yeah.
And, if they cross the line and do something, then they may have lost that opportunity to be believed in by whoever did believe in them at one point. But it's pretty amazing to see people rise up when they're just given a little hope and a belief in them.
Who was like your mentors that helped you?
Gosh, I've had.
Do you have any standouts?
Yeah, I would say right now I have my greatest mentor, and he actually was crazy enough to partner with me. His name is Paul Jarman. He is my new partner, and it's a whole long story, but still at times have to pinch myself knowing who he is and that he really came on board to work with me. It's a pretty spiritual, amazing story, how I met him, how it all came to be. But, Paul Jarman built a company called In Contact, sold it for $1 billion to a company called Nice in 2017. And he grew, they asked him to come on and be the CEO of that department. And he helped take it from, I think it was a $3 billion company to a $14 billion company by the time that I met him in 2022. And I somehow conned him into making him think that Gigg was going to be the place to come next. And somehow he believed in me and had faith, and man, we're having fun. And so, but before Paul, I'd say my good friend Ryan Smith, CEO of Qualtrics, he was my next door neighbor for a lot of years, and I was with him when
Good neighborhood.
Yeah, he's an amazing human being. He really is. Ryan, dynamic, special, smart sucker. You wouldn't think by looking at him. Just kidding. But he's actually an amazing human being. He helped me a lot. Stuart Hughes, who was my stake president at the time, CEO and founder of Unicity. That man kicked my butt. Always said it like it was. And then I would also say a man by the name of Carl Reiser. Carl Reiser, he built a company called All Music Guide. He sold it for $1 billion to Apple and Beats. I would say that those are the men that played the biggest role in helping me make better decisions, because I'm still making bad decisions, but I'm making better ones because of these guys. So
Scott is so underplaying himself in this.
Hey, I have a lot of things to learn. I'm constantly making mistakes, and that's the beauty of it, and I'm grateful to have, especially Paul around right now. Like this guy is next level smart, and he kicks my butt daily and keeps me focused on the things that matter. When I talked about focus in the beginning of this, focus is crucial to the success of your business. If you really want to win, you better be focused.
Love it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had some of like Utah's greatest
Man,
mentors. Jeez.
I've been pretty fortunate to, and going back to like the special moments as an entrepreneur, spending time with these incredible people has really been special for me.
And when you think of the word success or like real wealth, what does that mean to you?
Oh man, great question. I will tell you right now, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with, growing a business, that's success. True success happens inside the walls of your home. It happens in the walls of your soul. And you don't have to have a lot of money to be successful. Some of the most successful human beings I know don't have money, and they're focused on the things that truly, truly matter. And family is success. A happy marriage, a happy wife is success. Kids that smile back at you, that's success. The Dodgers winning the World Series is success. Yeah. Squirrel. No, I didn't mean to. I just saw my Dodger hat reflection in that camera over there. So, no, but in all seriousness, success rarely has anything to do with money. I think just being happy is success. Just being waking up with hope and a reason
Yeah.
is success. And I learn more and more every day that not a lot of people have that. And I also believe that success is waking up and going to a job that you enjoy. If you're going to a job that you're just putting in the time to get out of there at 5 p.m., man, you're in the wrong spot. Make a change, like immediately. Success is going out and doing what you enjoy every day of your life. Yeah.
I think we live in a special time where there are so many opportunities where if you are not enjoying your current life state in work, physically, mentally, everything, like there's so many solutions out there.
Yeah.
And I want to hit on, what you were saying with real success, like your family. What's your story with your wife?
Oh, she's smoking hot, and somehow I pulled her off. No, she is the most amazing human being I've ever met. I love her. She is my driving force. She is, she's different. She is, if anyone knows Mikkel, my wife, they know that they're literally talking to an angel. This is, she's perfect. While she's not perfect in some aspects, those are so minuscule to the incredible human being that she is. And I'm so grateful for her. And she's an incredible mother. She's my very best friend. And, I would prefer to go and hang out with her than anyone else. You're in a good marriage when you want to get away and spend a week with your wife, and I don't know how she puts up with me at times, but she's my reason. And I'm so fortunate to have met her and married her. Yeah. She's stuck with me forever, whether she likes it or not. I think she likes me. And then my kids, so different, so special, unique in their own individual ways. And love being a dad. It's hard as heck right now. I think parents deal with a new set of problems that the world's never seen this day and age. And it's important to maintain strong relationships with your kids individually. Talk, listen, and spend time with them, because if you don't, you're not going to succeed as their parent this day and age. And so, my family's my greatest success, and I still have time, I'll have grandkids one day, right? My oldest son's on his mission in Sacramento right now. I'm so proud of him. He's doing great. And the other two, I have two high schoolers and then a kid in elementary school still, but they're great. They're all amazing.
What has built like a successful family for you? And then I'll have one other question and we can wrap up.
You know what? People are going to think it's a cliche or primary answer. It's the gospel. I think that being deeply rooted in a faith that where the family unit is so important is what I think strengthens my family. And I'm grateful for that. So I would say, and being together, spending time together, doing things together, making time, right? I got my son's basketball game. Why the heck are they scheduling games at 3:00? But they do, and I'm going to find a way to get there because that's the stuff that matters, right?
There you go.
So, but yeah, it's just time and then a reason, Yeah.
Yeah. And for you, how has God played a role in all the good and bad in your world?
Man, it's getting all emotional and stuff in here. God is there in every sense of the word, in everything I'm doing on the daily. I feel him. I feel his presence every single day. I know that he loves me and he's watching out for me. He's also all about me getting my butt kicked and learning some hard lessons, and making big mistakes. I've made a lot of big mistakes that I'm not proud of. I'm far from perfect. However, I wake up every morning with hope. Every single morning I wake up with hope because I know God's there. He loves me and there's a plan. And hope, it's a true stat. If a person loses hope, there's no reason. There's no reason for life. And there's studies around suicides. And when a person loses hope for life or whatever it is, there's no reason to keep pushing. And for me, God is hope and love, and I feel it every morning. I wake up the happiest person in the morning. I don't get it. Most people don't do that. But for me, it's because I have hope and I have a reason every single day. And I'm doing my best. And I know that he's on the other side waiting with open arms. And I'm going to do my best to get back to him in the best shape I can.
It's powerful. It's really good stuff,
Thanks.
man. Well, I'm beyond honored to have you here. Is there anything you want to tell our audience?
Yeah, just enjoy life. Find a way to love whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't like what you're doing or you don't like where you're at in life, make changes and be strong enough and have the courage enough to make adjustments, because life is meant to be enjoyed. And you're here to be successful. Literally, like talking about God or whatever you believe in, God, a higher power, the universe, you are meant to be successful, and push yourself to go find the success that you're here to accomplish.
That gets me hyped up. That's so good, man. Well, Scott, you're the man. I look up to you a lot in a lot of different aspects, and
same to you. Thanks.
No one's perfect, man.
No.
And
no.
Embracing, what we've gone through to get where we are is, that's part of life progression. And so I appreciate you coming on and always supporting whatever is going on. And
you bet, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Well, much love to you guys at home, and that's podcast.
Sayonara.